Right, hey guys, I think we're live. So give me a hot second here to check my signal, make sure it's true, make sure that the sound level is acceptable. I've got some quick social media posts to make, and then we're gonna dive into. Oh boy, I'm not liking how long it's taking to load stuff today. I am really hoping my internet doesn't crash. How long it's taking to load stuff today. I am really hoping my internet. We'll see. We'll see how we land today. But give me a hot second here. I need to copy a link here, get that on my my Sky, my X Twitter, hit the Discords real fast. It'll take less than a minute. So if you're catching me in the future, go ahead and skip forward like 50 seconds or something, and we'll get started with today's game design stream. But for those that are trapped here now with me in space-time, I'll try to entertain you here in the intro so you don't just bail away from the channel. My name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. I'm really focused on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using the 2024 updated rules. I've been a DM since 1987. Relevant to the conversation, I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1994. And I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I started creating content for D&D 5e, publishing on the DMsGuild in 2018. The first thing I started with was the 5-color mana spell point variant rules, swapping out the Vancian magic and spell slot system of D&D 5e and previous editions with the other massive IP that Wizards of the Coast owns and creates content for D&D with Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering has a 5-color mana system. It is also a really deep philosophical system that can be used not only to express spell casting, but also to approach alignment from a different direction. So when they started publishing settings that were built from Magic the Gathering worlds, the philosophy that they had adopted in 5e was take ideas and then boil them down and compress them so that they operate within the rules of the core rule books. So that anyone that wants to run a particular type of setting, all you need is the setting book and the core rules, and it will basically work like any other campaign that you run. Once you know how to play D&D, you know how to play D&D. This is a very different philosophy from 3rd edition. 3rd edition was, if we're making up a new setting or like a new type of class or a new character option, they would build a completely different power system, resource system, magic items, feats, classes, creatures, subclasses, and skills and magic items that all revolved around whatever that idea was. Like legacy weapons was an idea of that basically instead of having common, uncommon, rare, very rare magic items, you would have a magic item that had a level from level 1 to 20, and it would scale with your character's progression from level 1 to 20. It could either be broken up into a number of different specialized pieces of equipment, or it can just be a single artifact weapon that grows with you as you grow in power as well. And that eventually translated, as I understand it, into the 4E philosophy of when your character gains a level, they just automatically get magic items appropriate for their level instead of them going out specifically to hunt them down. You can do that, but your character's intended and should have all the gear appropriate for whatever level they are in 4th edition. And then 5th edition slid back to kind of the 3rd edition style of having magic gear be something that you discover, but is more for marshals than casters, because the marshals lack variety and options because they don't have the spell point resource. They don't have the spell list resource. So one of the big philosophies that we're going with is using Magic the Gathering as the basis of having a mana pool, and having that mana pool be across all 14 character classes, and then build out a separate power system like from 3rd edition. Martial Book of 9 Swords in 3rd edition basically gave a martial magic system that was mana based, that would be used. You'd spend the points to do extra damage or get like extra effects or modify your action economy or something. It was a really cool system, and that was the core of what martial powers was in 4th edition. But then they slid back to just basic feats and kits from 3rd and 2nd edition. So we lost that mechanical depth that made martials have the same options that casters have. So by using a magic paradigm that supports all characters, color mana system, it creates identity. It gives you an alignment, a way to manifest your alignment into how your character is expressed during an adventure. It has literal color that is an excellent visual reference. If I'm using a blue spell, you can expect a lot of blue language coming off of the DM. And if you're illustrating your stuff, then you would have a lot of blue color pattern going on with your character, because the magic that you use is, like, say, Dimir is blue and black. So you'd have this inky blackness that's like a deep blue, like a purple almost to it, like you see with Drow a lot. That's a neat little color space to operate inside of, considering that Loth is a blue-black creature in the MTG card set that Wizards created for Magic the Gathering. So there is some porous cross-compatibility between the two. But we're developing that out so that the 5e game engine is using that color philosophy system to spend mana points to cast spells devoted to the different colors of Magic, depending on what kind of a character you have and what colors your character is aligned with and devoted to, is going to sculpt what your color mana spell pool looks like and the spells that you're preparing on top of it. And then you layer in the martial power system. So now it doesn't matter what character class you play, you're going to have this large list of prepared options that you can change sometimes on a daily basis, and then have the same mana pool resource across all 14 characters to be able to fuel these options. And so when you get into multi-classing, you now have the same level of depth and customization that you had from 3rd edition, where all your characters are going to use the same mana pool. Different classes give you more mana more quickly, or they give you different spell options more quickly, or they give you access to martial powers more quickly. So there's this wide variety of how you can, over your 20 levels of building a deck of cards, like a Magic the Gathering deck, to win the game a certain way. In 3rd edition, multi-classing with prestige classes was a way for you to deck build your character in D&D that was designed to either work a specific way as like a gimmick or like a trick to adventuring, or was customized to integrate and reinforce and strengthen the other characters in the party, that you could all agree to optimize your characters towards achieving. Like, we're all going to do stuff that damage or impactability checks and saving throws on our enemies, so we don't have to worry about doing the most damage. We're going to make sure that they can't stop us from doing what we want to do, either in combat or during exploration. So it's like there's different ways you could approach the game, because there were so many different mechanics inside of 3E. We're expanding the breadth of mechanics in 5E, so you can similarly create different solutions, building your characters in different ways. And one of these things that we're playing with now is Mage Tower. Now let me fix my screen real quick here, because I'm really tearing down the rabbit hole, and we got stuff to do. So if you think this kind of stuff is cool and you want to find out more, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we're live in the future. If you check the list here, this is the record of us talking about these different systems. Here's a bunch of books that we've already created that are on the DMsGuild. Specifically the color mana system. It's a bundle of 7 different books. It all has free preview. Be welcome to click in that link, and if this idea is interesting to you, just click through and look at those books. And if you think any of them are things that you would actually want to implement, or you want me to continue doing work like that, then consider picking up some. God bless you. But in the meantime, just go ahead and read them to see if they're cool or not. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is the documents that we're going to be using today. This is the color mana system update for 2024. It's a very rough, everything in the kitchen sink approach of just dumping information into a document. It's read-only. I'm sorry. Because it's going to go on the DMsGuild, I can't just give it to you for free. You have to wait until it gets published in its final format with its final draft, and I do all the artwork and stuff on it in the mornings, so swing by and check that out if you're interested. But this is a read-only document that I make available because I know that you guys could just pause and steal the URL. I can't stop you from doing it, so I may as well lean into it. But it is specifically set to be read-only, so you can look, but I can't actually give it to you until it's published on the DMsGuild. So that's a legal disclaimer. I love the DMsGuild. I legitimately love being able to build IPs with it and be able to share it on a platform that will actively promote the stuff that I publish when I make it. I feel so supported and respected by the Roll20 community. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys. And so honoring all the contracts and stuff with that. In the meantime, this is something that I can share with you guys. You can see what I'm working on, so that I'm not just theory crafting. I'm actually building tools here, which is what we're going to do today. We're building athletes for the Strixhaven game. Strixhaven expresses Mage Tower as basically a skill test, which kind of falls into the exploration pillar of adventure, where you're basically just making everyone on the team makes an ability check, whatever ability you want, with whatever skill makes sense. You roll your character, and then you make your ability check, whatever it is, and everyone on your team adds up the results that you got, versus the enemy team adds up all their results, and whichever team has the bigger number wins the game. They don't go into it. That's like as far in as they go. But if you want to take it like a step further, it could be like, divide the score by 5, divide the number that you get by 5, and that's how many points your team scored. So like if I rolled a 47 versus 32, the end match would be 9 versus 6. So my team won with 9 points. You put up a good fight with 6, but you didn't quite make it. So that's as far as it goes. That's Mage Tower, baby. That's really unsatisfying, though. There's so much more we could do with it. So we've converted it into a non-lethal combat action economy game. It's a combat sport. So if you want to see the playtest document for that, this will also be on the DMsGuild. So again, it's look, don't touch. But this is the ideas that we've been throwing at the literal wall here with you. And when I actually finish up ideation, I'll hire an editor and possibly a co-writer to help me make it word good. And then once they finish word gooding it, they'll pass it back to me. I'll do the page layouts, and then any gaps in the pages that are left open, I'll fill with illustrations. And you can watch about 3 years of me doing that on my live stream channel here on philkearney.com. I'll just click on live. It's just gonna be a massive wall of me just doing artwork and game design like this. So this is kind of what I do. So let me grab this and peel this out separately so it's not in the way, like that. And then we're going to grab Mage Tower as a separate document. This is going into how to play with the arena, like the rules of the arena, the athletes, what the athletes can do, how you draw fouls, the mascots, which are balls. The ball that you throw at the goal to score a point is a mascot. And then there's timing in the game, like how does timing work, like short rest, long rest, stuff like that. And then we have the banned feats, powers, and spells. So these are the things that you cannot use in Mage Tower because it either like adds more people to the battlefield, or it makes people leave the battlefield, like summoning things in. You now have more teammates than the enemy team. That's illegal. Banishing removes people from the arena so they can't actually play the game anymore. So that's illegal. You can paralyze somebody because they can get out of it or have a friend dispel it or whatever. It's a way to slow your enemy down to prevent them from scoring a goal. But it's not illegal, and it automatically, like timing, it talks about like automatically churning off after failing X amount of times, depending on what rank of a team you have, 1 to 5. 1, 5, 9, 13, 17th level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th rank, or spellcasting half-casters, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th level spells. It's all, and that's when you gain your proficiency bonuses. So that's your natural scaffold from like super Pee-wee league to like national, international league. So like FIFA or NFL, as opposed to like junior league at 4, and then you have like high school league at 3rd rank, and then you have junior league at 2nd rank, and then you have Pee Wee league at 1st rank. That's basically like your American equivalent scaling. I'm not sure how football does it in Europe and Asia, but I'm sure it's similar. So now that we have all the rules built and we know what spells, powers, and feats are illegal to use, we can now build characters. Here's the field with one goal here and another goal here, and then each team has a ball that you're attempting to hit the goal with while the enemy is also trying to hit the goal. So you have to decide, are we going defense or offense right now? What's our positioning? So we built a sample athlete, which was a wild magic sorcerer level 7. Using Silver Quill, because it is Strixhaven after all, so you're going to be in one of the 5 schools as an athlete. So Silver Quill, white-black magic. So when we built the wild magic sorcerer, and this was during my Tuesday lunch earlier this week, we went with the wild sorcerer, which gets free meta magic instead of bonus spells, and all of the spells that we chose for them are white and black. Like Thunder Wave would normally be a blue, red, green. If you check the link down below for all the spells and stuff, Thunder Wave is normally blue, red, green. But when we prepared it, we prepared it on the fly. So we double prepared it. So instead of being blue, red, green, it became a white spell because Silver Quill only does white and black. So the spell list that you have is restricted. You get all the spells that a sorcerer would normally have, but they're all coded to different colors. And since I'm talking about it, let's go take a look at it real quick. If you click on the document here, it'll open up the list of books on DMsGuild. And here's the, this is pay what you want, but using the 2014 spells. But this is the spell list. This is how you convert spells and abilities and stuff into color. So it's got the 5 colors, white, blue, black, red, green. Quickly describes some of the aspects of magic, like mechanics or ideas inside of the D&D game engine that would be aligned with or devoted to a specific color, and then the damage types from the Magic the Gathering cards. What type of spells on the Magic the Gathering cards are typically what color? Like in Magic the Gathering, acid is almost always black and green. Radiant magic is always white. Necrotic stuff is always black. Poison is both black and green. Fire, lightning, those are red. Lightning could be considered blue because blue is sky and air and rain, except there's only 3 out of like 750 cards in Magic the Gathering that reference anything involving lightning that aren't red. So obviously it's red, so we didn't even bother. So lightning is red, but like thunder is blue, red, and green because that tracks. So all these are really intuitive and relatively balanced, while like BPS doesn't deal any specific. It's like no color. It's not devoted to anything. You just hit stuff. So taking the damage type and like the descriptive aspects of what color magic, what each color means in the world, you can then create a list of spells. So getting past the cantrips, which don't cost any mana, but they still have a color identity. Like light is white because white is aligned with radiance. Mending, that's a blue spell. Minor illusions, like illusion stuff, is usually blue magic. Produce flame, red spell. See, frost, white, blue, green. These all just fall in line with what we already defined. And then the way that color mana works is that whatever level of spell it is, that's how many points of mana that you spend. So you get a mana pool, and then you spend a number of points. Burning Hands is a red spell, so I'd spend 1 point of mana. If I'm devoting each individual point of mana, you don't have to. You can just have a general mana pool and then just describe what color you're casting with. Now you're basically just playing spell points in D&D. But if you devote each point in your mana pool to a specific color, when I run out of red mana, I can't cast Burning Hands anymore. I can change what color they are whenever I take a short or a long rest. Regardless of how much mana I have, I can just reconfigure my entire mana pool. Some classes get mana back on a short rest. Some classes get mana back on a long rest. Either way, every class can change what colors mana they have in their pool whenever they finish any kind of rest. So, or like if they have like a Warlock has a ritual that'll regain points. Well, when you do that, you can then dedicate your mana to whatever color when you get those points back. So, so you adapt your mana pool and your spell list. If I am Silver Quill, and as a Silver Quill character, I want to cast Thunder Wave, which is blue, red, green. For me to make it a white spell, something that I would have, like if I'm playing Silver Quill, I'm devoted to white and black magic. Those are the only colors I use. In a strict system, I only use white and black. So that means that any spell I cast has to be devoted to white or black. But Thunderwave is not naturally devoted to black or white magic. So I prepare the spell so it's on my list, but then I have to prepare it again so that I can have it in the color that I want. In a match of Mage Tower, you can just reconfigure your spells between matches, even if you want to. You aren't stuck with the spells that you woke up with this morning or that you gained last level. It's when you're playing Mage Tower, just customize your character to run the way that you want, and then your list of prepared spells is your list. And if you have to waste half of them to get the spells that you want onto your list, that just means you're going to have less spells available to your character while you're in competition, which is fine because you don't need comprehend languages and tensors floating disk right now. It's you're playing a game, so you can limit your palette, so we're allowing you just to reconfigure your spells. But if you wanted to put this into an ongoing campaign, you could say, you're normally college students or whatever, and you're playing this match. If you have comprehend language on your list, you're stuck with it. Or you can just say, no, we're playing Mage Tower, you can reconfigure it. But then that's why can't I do that outside of Mage Tower, right? But you can also do this as a standalone PvP environment. Like people are like, I want to do a PvP thing. We all build 20th level characters and let's kill each other. Let's see who's got the best character, yay. And then it just becomes a theory crafting room of who can deal the most damage or mitigate the most damage. This is approaching that same sort of idea from an actual team competition where you can't kill each other, but you have to score points by hitting the goal with your ball. So you can have casters that do things like put people to sleep so that they can't defend or attack. Fog clouds so that you're blinding your opponent so that they can't see the goal or each other. Suggestion to suggest that your enemy go throw their ball at their own goal for a while. Whatever. Enlarge, reduce to increase the bodies on the battlefield or make them smaller as an enemy. Hold person, paralyze them. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with spells that are combat by nature but aren't killing each other. You're just trying to slow each other down. I should probably have Dispel Magic on here now that I'm thinking about it. We'll customize this later. I would probably replace sleep with Dispel Magic. Actually, because if my striker gets paralyzed, I want to be able to counter that shit. Dispel Magic is white and blue. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and what do we want to replace? Let's suggestions so good. Yeah, let's ditch sleep. Let's replace that. We're gonna go with Dispel Magic, which is a white spell, which is already devoted to white, and we're also gonna do counter magic, counter spell, which is shit, that's blue, isn't it? Well, that just makes sense. Magic the Gathering. Let's do. No, I'm not gonna do counter spell. I would rather just use a quicken spell and pop Dispel Magic or something. So let's not do that, and instead let's go fetch another black spell. I'm actually gonna crack open the 2024 spell list. No, that's right. We actually have it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually open it because we have the whole list right here. So we were debating different sorcerer spells that are in the core book. These are all the spells. So we can go up to 4th level. We just opened up a single spell. So yeah, I do need to have the spell list open. Hold on. Let's go to wrong list. Let's go here to 2024 Color Mage spell. When I update these books for 2024, this will be I will be using this instead of what's in the core books or the revised spell list. Let's grab this, and we can get. So that's the gist of it. That's how this stuff works. Let's see. Levitate, magic weapon, mind spike. Tell me about you, mind spike. You drive a spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature that you can see. The target makes a wisdom saving throw, taking psychic damage on a failed save or half as much on success. On a failed save, you always know their location, but only while the two of you are on the same plane of existence. And while you have this knowledge cannot become hidden from you. And if it has the invisibility condition, it gains no benefit. Ooh, that's actually really useful. Okay, cool. So Mind Spike, is that a black spell? It does psychic damage, so signs point to yes. It's a black spell. So yeah, we're gonna pick up Mind Spike. And what level is that? 2nd. Very nice. Where'd my character go? There he is. Mind Spike. Black. There. All right, updated. Okay, so what is our agenda today? We've built out the sorcerer. We need more athletes, basically, and our characters are currently 7th level in our playtest campaign. So we're building 7th level characters as substitutes in case we want to take a break from being in the mega dungeon and go play some Mage Tower. Like while we're in town getting rid of loot, we can pick up some Mage Tower for some extra fun. That makes sense. So 7th level characters. I've got 2 objectives today. One, I want to make an Echo Knight. I want to make a fighter Echo Knight athlete. I think that would be amazing for Mage Tower. And that also lets me show off the rules that we made for Echo Knights. So you can check that out. Using the color mana system, obviously. And then I have a strong suspicion that I'm going to want to look at the Psion feats as something I'll get access to using the Echo Knight. Just my gut's telling me to do that, but I haven't looked at the Psion feats yet. It's like the last thing I need to do, converting the Psion into a color mana spell point system. So we've done all the other work so far, just haven't finished those feats. And I want those feats because marshals in the power system, instead of preparing a power, you could prepare additional feats as like cantrip effects. You don't get the stat bonus when you do that, but you also don't have the prerequisites either. As long as it's on the list, you can prepare it once your character gets to level 5. Before that, like general feats and fighting styles, you can prepare at 1st level, and general feats and specialized stuff like that, like the Psion feats, those are available to you at you can. Like as general feats, you can take them at 5th level, 4th level as your 4th level feat. But the martial characters can then prepare them at 5th level. So like Great Weapon Master, Pam, and Sentinel. Those are all general feats that a martial character could pick up as powers. You won't gain any stat bonuses, but you get all the other benefits from those feats. It doesn't cost you any mana to use them, but they're eating up the amount of powers and options that you have to prepare. So now you can use your 4th level spell slot, your 8th, your 10th, 12th, 16th, 19th level spell slots for actual stat gains instead of having to take a half feat. So this eliminates that need for half feats. And honestly, if this was just built into the core of the 5e game engine, none of the feats would need to have a stat bonus with them, because at 4th level, you would just get an ability score increase. And then the characters in a unified system would just be able to choose feats instead of spells or powers. So there's that. Anyway, so the Psion has that ability. The Psion can pick psionic feats instead of learning spells, and just like the sorcerer can learn meta magic abilities instead of preparing spells. You get cantrips, so like from the sorcerer's perspective, since you have cantrips, you can just load down meta magic onto the cantrips that you have: True Strike, Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, Mage Hand, Dancing Lights. And the meta magics that we chose, we got 4 of them for at 7th level. We have 4 free meta magics that we get from the Wild Magic subclass. So I didn't need to spend any of my prepared spells on it, because the Wild Magic Sorcerer just, coincidentally, instead of getting bonus spells, gets bonus meta magics. So we took Impeding Spell, which reduces a target speed to half when you hit them with a spell that causes damage. A Distance Spell, which can turn a touch spell to a 5-foot reach, or otherwise double the reach of any range spell. And if you put 2 points of mana into Distance Spell instead of 1 point of mana to ramp it, you can have your touch spell reach 20 feet away. And then the other one that we have is Twin Spell, which is when I cast it, I can target, I can hit 2 targets, but I can only do that for 2nd level spells, because when I twin a spell, I have to spend as much mana on my meta magic as I do on the spell slot. But at 7th level, I can only use 2 points of mana to spend on meta magic at any time. So at 7th level, my cap on mana is 6, 4 for 4th level spells plus 2 for mana. So that's just how the sorcerer works. And then implosive spell, which is when I cast a spell when I cast a spell that would damage a target, it gets pulled 10 feet towards the origin point of the spell. If it's a ray spell like Ray of Frost, if I hit you and then I put 2 points of mana, Ray of Frost is a cantrip. So if I hit you with the Ray of Frost cantrip and then I put 2 points of mana into it, I can make it an implosive spell. So I hit you, and since I am the point of origin of that spell, I'm going to hit you with that Ray of Frost and pull you 10 feet closer to me. Potentially, like, say, out of range of being able to make a shot at my enemy goal. So this character, you can see here, they've got impeding to slow you down. They can hit you further away. They can hit multiple targets at the same time with single shot spells. And when they do hit you, they can pull you closer to them than you were. Plus the combination of actual spells that we have. Thunderwave pushes you away. Fog Cloud blinds you so you can't hit the goal, so you can't see the goal. Mind Spike prevents you from becoming invisible, so I can still track you even if you've used the Vanish or Disappear or Darkness spell. You can't evade me. Suggestion: I could completely change your idea about what you want to do this round. Enlarge or reduce either minimizes the threat of my enemies or maximizes the presence of my allies defending goal. And then hold person just flat out paralyzes you. I can just walk up and take the ball from you. So this is a debuff defense back half sort of character build. If my team is here and the enemy team is here, my character would probably be operating on this side of the half court, defending my goal, not necessarily as a goalie, but as a midline to shut down enemy action economy and shut down their action economy. Yeah, shut down their action economy and their movement so that they can't defend or attack. And each of these is 5 feet. From half line to back court is 105 feet. So like a lot of these spells have a 60-foot range. So if I'm at the half court, I got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. 55, 60. From half court with a 60-foot range spell, I can hit the goal. So if you are anywhere inside the field of battle and I'm on a half line, as long as my spells have a 60-foot reach, I can hit anyone that's in a relevant range of battle. Unless they're using a weird strategy like going back line and trying to evade the rest of the group, but they get kind of boxed in there. So it's a weird strategy, but they could do it. But if I'm at half court, I can basically hit either goal. And if I only have a 30-foot reach spell, which is basically the other option, it's either 30 feet or 60 plus feet. So, and 30 feet is within my movement per round. So the half court is an easy place for me to be able to close distance 30 feet to be able to target anybody that's on the goal tower. So that's the idea. So the sorcerer is a really good debuff defender, midline debuffer. So if I had a team of 3, I could have a goalie on the back line. I could have this wild mage sorcerer as my midline, and then I could have a forward striker. And that's what we're going to do with our Echo Knight. So we're going to build the Echo Knight into a striker because the Echo Knight is so mobile. It's such a fast mobile type of target. I could easily get from back rank to the enemy's front rank to be able to attack with normal attack instead of being at disadvantage. So that would be very. I think that would be very effective. Plus, I can take shots from either my Echo or my own location, so I've got a lot of flexibility there. And then I don't know what we're going to do for our goalie, but that's my plan for tomorrow is to build the goalie. So now that we have our the outline of the stuff that we're planning on doing. Let's next get into the Psion because we want to actually build out. For me to build that Echo Knight, I suspect I'm going to need to have the Psion feats. So let's build the feats and get into that. So this is the Artificer. Let's move past that. Epic boons. That's the... Oh, okay, we're in Sorcerer now. Cool. So here's the Psion. We already rebuilt Psion and all the subclasses that are in the Unearthed Arcana in May. We've built it into the color mana system. So the Psion gets the energy die that can modify their psionic modes and disciplines. It's 6, 10, 12, 6, 8, 10, 12, just like the monk has. And then the amount of energy that they can expend on, the max energy is the amount of mana that they can spend. Just like the sorcerer, you have half casting progression for scaling up how much additional mana they can spend on psionics while they're casting spells or instead of casting spells. So there's the Unearthed Arcana here. Thank you. I don't need your AI. I appreciate you offering it, but it's unnecessary. So here's the Scaffold. It's a full casting class, so 1 to 9, mana 1 to 9. But I don't care about this stuff right now. What I want to get into is we did the Metamorph, we did all the subclasses. Rebuilt all of these rules. We have to rebuild virtually everything because we're using mana now instead of spell slots. So the resources of the class changes to take into account, like, you get a lot of mana, and if you're using gritty realism of having short rests at night, the tempo that's been working for us in playtesting is 2 short rests for every long rest. So short rest, long rest. Short rest, long rest. So basically every week you get 2 short rests. You get 2 long rests per week, basically. You could slow that down if you're playing a Bastion campaign where you're having 1 adventure per week that coincides with the pacing of your Bastion. Then that adventure would take place over the course of a long rest, and every night would be a short rest until you get to that point. And if you do have a gritty realism campaign, we recommend having a restoration like the sorcerer the warlock restoration of you spend a minute ritual, or basically every time you take a short rest you get your spell level worth of mana back, so that full casters can fill up a little bit of mana, like spending hit dice, instead of getting hit points back, get mana back, for example. So that's a reasonable way to approach how you handle short rest mechanics on a nightly rest, so that you only have 1 long rest per week. Because all the martial characters get all of their mana back on a short rest. So after 2 short rests, they outpace what full casters can generate mana. So if you want to keep that stuff balanced, you want to think about, well, for the full casters to keep up with the short rest casters, the short rest mana, then you need a way to give a 20th level wizard 10 mana back every time they take a short rest, because you're only going to get 1 short rest per week in a Bastion campaign. So by giving them that, whenever you take a short rest, you get 10 mana. Give all the full casters, whenever you take a short rest, you get 10 mana back. That's the way to keep them all balanced with each other. So anyway, Bob's your uncle. So stepping past that, list of Sonic disciplines, Sonic subclasses, and Sonic feats. This is where we wanted to get to. So let's look at the playtest document. Telepath is a subclass. Here's our spells. Feats. Wild Talent feat. This feat are in the Wild Talent category. I haven't looked at these at all, so we're translating stuff in real time. This is game design, baby. Welcome aboard. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm here doing game design Monday, Thursday nights, Tuesday, Friday lunches, 4 days a week, and then Monday through Friday in the morning, I do artwork for the books that I publish. So, at Mokanessa. Rec can't have another Wild Talent feat. And again, the martial power system ignores can't have another Wild Talent feat. And one of the things that we allow Scions to do with this system is, instead of preparing a spell, you can prepare a psionic feat. So this can ignore that. you gain the following benefits. Lightning Jolt, once per turn when you cast a spell or hit with an attack roll and deal bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or psychic damage, you can change the damage type to lightning damage. Okay. Atmokinesis. Atmokinesis. I actually don't need to change anything about that. I'm going to copy it, open up a Word document here. Lightning Jolt. And that once per turn is not mature. It's not really where game design is at in 5e right now. It should be lightning damage is not better than psychic damage. So dealing lightning damage is fine. There's multiple weapons and character class options that allow you to just simply deal lightning damage. So if you're going to spend a spell slot or a feat slot to pick up Lightning Jolt, you should just be able to do lightning damage. Marshals can do that with the martial power system. This is just keeping the Psion in the pace of flexibility that the marshals have. Let's do that and then make it a little bit bigger, 13. This might be really quick, which is fine because again, I'm doing this because I suspect there's something in here that I want to give to the Echo Knight when we build the Echo Knight athlete. So once I get through these feats, we can dive into looking at how the Echo Knight is converted for the color mana spell point variant rule system, and then build them as a Strixhaven athlete. I'm thinking Echo Knight makes the most sense as Quandrix. Quandrix deals with teleportation and dimensional magics, which is perfect for the Echo Knight. So and that'll be a blue-green character, so all the powers and abilities that our Echo Knight are going to be themed around blue-green magic when we build it. So for the time being, you know the Shocking Grass cantrip. You can always have the Fog Cloud spell prepared. And you always have the Fog Cloud spell prepared. You can cast it once without a spell slot and regain the ability to cast it in that way when you finish a long rest. You can cast it using, let's see, you know the Shocking Grass cantrip. You also have the Fog Cloud. Was Fog Cloud a first or second level spell? Hold on. I actually have it on the sorcerer list, so it's blue or green. It's first level, so that's what's actually relevant right now. And you always have the fog spell prepared, and you can cast it as a first level spell. And get rid of that line. There's so much mana in the mana pool, you do not need to give them free spells in a color mana system. So we're going to be going through, eventually when we start cleaning this up, we're going to go through and start looking at where do we get a bunch of free spells and making sure that we have it coded so that you're not getting them for free. You just don't need that with the amount of mana that you get with spell points in general in 5e. Especially if you're using the 2014 DMG's version, you get way too much mana. But with this system, you have right. You know, you don't. If spell points is your default, the only reason they're giving you free spells in the 5e24 version is because they're recognizing that spell slots are too restrictive. That you don't get enough low-level spells slots to be able to spam low-level abilities like the way that they want you to do, so that your character feels more superheroic. The solution to that was spell points, but they were intentionally making 5e24 backwards compatible, so they didn't have the option to even consider converting the 5e game engine over to spell points. But if they had done that, that's what we're doing. So we're demonstrating what would 5e24 look like if you had a very simplified 1-to-1 ratio spell point system to cast spells. And the reason why I think 1-to-1 spell point ratio to spell level is appropriate, it's correct, as opposed to the weird stilted method that Wizards presented. Wizards says in DMG 2014, it's a first level spell costs 2 spell points, and a 9th level spell costs 13 spell points. It's 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 9 levels, 11, 13. I think that's how it works. Is that how it works? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13. Right, that's how it works. But if you do it that way, a 9th level spell is only 6.5 times more powerful, or only costs 6.5 times more than a first level spell does. And when you're using a spell pool where you've just got a stack of mana, that doesn't make sense. They made it, I think they made it clumsy on purpose so that people wouldn't just ask, why aren't we just using spell points? They're so simple. They calibrated the game to be, you only have this amount of spells at first level before it's going to cost you more to cast it. So technically, 9th level spells using spell points should cost more like 17 points compared to a 2nd level spell. Or even that's not enough, like 25 points would probably be more appropriate, because there's a scaling cost over time that stilts your ability. Like, you can cast 4 first level spells, but if you want to cast that first level spell again, you now have to use a 2nd level spell slot. You can see in the design of 5e24 that they know that's not good for how they want to make your characters super heroic. So they're now giving you free spells based on your class and subclass options as a thematic pick for you to get these free spells as part of the flavor, and then casting them for free just reinforces what your flavor is. It's an okay solution, and I'm not knocking them because they had to go with backwards compatibility. That's actually a really good way of expressing both flavor for your subclasses and still respecting you need to do this more often, even though you're restricted to only 4 spell slots of first level and 3 spell slots of 2nd level, 3 spell slots of 3rd level, etc., down to only 1 at 6th, 7th, and 8th until you get to really, really high levels. So it's honestly, using spell slots, it is a good solution. But when you're translated into the mana system where you have a pool of spell points, you don't need free spells. You just need more spells to use your mana on, so you have more options instead of just spamming the same thing. So it solves itself, and it would have been an easier process for them to build it that way. And again, with the martial power system, we can get rid of the martial caster divide, because the martial caster divide isn't necessarily a matter of power, it's a matter of choice, where martials only get one choice basically every 4 levels. What feat am I going to take? And then at 3rd level, what subclass am I going to take? And then pretty much all those are pretty much your only options. While a full caster or any spellcaster has those same options as well, feats at every 4 levels and a subclass to pick at 3rd level, but they also get by 20th level 25 basically mana powered feats or spells that they can spend their resources on, and a martial doesn't get those. So to try to resolve that issue, martials are supposed to get a bunch of magic weapons and magic gear that give them the flexibility of, I can't cast lightning bolt, but I've got 6 lightning javelins that I can just throw out 6 thunderbolts per day. That's like 6 3rd level spells. That's nothing to shake a stick at, except that since they can do that, the full casters want sticks to shake things at. So they want sticks to shake at things, is what I'm trying to say. So if you give martials a bunch of magic gear that's going to let them have some similar simulation of flexibility that the casters get, the casters feel left out because they don't get any magic gear. They don't deserve any magic gear because they have all of their spells and their spell slots as a resource that martials don't have. The magic's supposed to be there, but by giving in to allowing spellcasters to also have magic items, now the divide remains where casters still have this battery of resources and this huge list of options to spend that resource on every level. So by creating the martial power system, we give that same pool of resources to martials and the same breadth of options for them to customize how they approach adventuring, just like the spellcasters do. So And so we built the spellcasters first for 2014. For 2024, we're rebuilding all the spellcasters, and we're introducing the martial power system. And now that they've introduced the Psion, we're reverse engineering the full caster from the martial. So like the Psion is the real Gish in the color mana system, because the Psion uses some of the same mechanics that martials use, with like scaling dice and the half casting dice scaling system that's in place, and the ability to prepare feats instead of spells. This is a martial thing that gives martials massive flexibility. And since we want the Psion to not feel like a sorcerer or a bard or a wizard or a cleric or a druid, we have to give them their own thing. The best way to give them their own thing is to allow them to freely pick psionic feats as options to add to their list of things that, instead of preparing a spell, you get the psionic feat. So in this instance, we get both we get both cantrip and a first level spell as a prepared spell, and we have the ability to convert damage into lightning damage. Like that is a prepared spell slot that we get. It's a psionic feat. So there you go. So psionic talents. When you cast these spells, you require no verbal components, and intelligence, wisdom, or charisma is your spellcasting ability for them, which you choose when you take the feat. When you reach character level 3, you always have the gust of wind spell prepared as fog cloud spell prepared as a second level spell. And by second level spell, we know that it costs 2. There you go. So this is basically just giving us abilities, or giving us extra feats, which extra spells, and a kicker effect, which I'm fine with. Click. Let's see. So we got biokinesis, cryokinesis, empath, clairsentience, flesh morpher, psychokineticist, mind whisperer, pyrokinesis, and psi trickster. So there's 9 feats. So let's just let's kick through them. Kinesis, yeah, we'll get through them. And we'll still have biokinesis. I'm gonna copy paste. I have the right to change my mind once I actually get through these feats about anything that we've been discussing here. Because this is all playtest content, and I expect it to all change as well. This is just our current thoughts on the project. Let's unbold all of that. Spell you cast restores hit points to a creature. You can roll 1d4 and add the number rolled to the total hit points restored. You can use this benefit a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. When a spell you cast restores hit points to a creature, you can expend 1 mana to roll a energy die, adding the result to the total number of hit points healed. Don't need to do anything about long rest. It's just you got all this mana, so when you cast a healing spell, you can dump in an extra point of mana and ramp up the benefit. Your power die is a D6 at first, D8 at 5th, D10 at 11th, D12 at 17th. So it becomes meaningful over time. Psionic talent. What is that gonna be? Let's go copy. You know the Spirit of Dying cantrip. You also have the Healing Word spell prepared, and you can cast it as a healing word spell, prepared as a first level spell. You can also cast it when you cast these spells. Period. When you cast these spells, they require no verbal or material components and intelligence, blah, 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 via your ability. When you reach character level 3, you can always have the Arcane Vigor spell prepared and can cast it the same way. Prepared as a second level spell. Kinesis. Clairsentience. I'm expecting good things from Clairsentience. Let's grab this. Clairsentience. Let's just grab the whole block. Copy, paste, copy, cut. There, minor foreknowledge. Oh, this will be cool. And Sonic Talent. There. When you take the search action, you can give yourself advantage on an ability check made as part of that action. You can use this benefit a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. No. When you take the search action, you can expend 1 mana to give yourself advantage on any ability check made as part of that action. You can expend 1 mana to roll an energy die, adding the number rolled to the total, to the results of the result of any ability check as a result of an ability check made as part of that action. There you go. D6. At 5th, it's a D8. At 11th, it's a D10. At 17th, it's a D12. I know that statistically, on average, you gain advantage is worth +5 to your die roll, and that means that you don't get a bonus. You wouldn't actually catch up to that +5 bonus until you are 11th level. However, there's so many ways to gain advantage. This is a nothing burger option. It doesn't actually help you. This is basically, I can spend a point of mana. I can basically gain inspiration to increase my die roll without having to get Bardic Inspiration. We'll need to put a caveat in here. Psionic feats. Note. When you use, you know what? Honestly, that's not a psionic feat issue. That is a psion issue. Spellcasting, psionics, energy dice. You gain a psionic energy die when it's a d6. At higher levels, your energy die changes when you reach certain psion levels, as shown in the energy die column. That becomes a blop, 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 blop there. Certain psion features roll energy dice when you expend mana, as detailed below. The result of the die is often added to the d20 test or damage roll. In most circumstances, only 1 die is rolled when using these features, while some allow you to roll multiple dice. A feature will state if multiple dice can be rolled and how they affect those features when you do. You can expend 1 mana to roll an energy die, and at later levels you can expend more mana to roll an equal number of dice. At 5th level you can expend 2 mana to roll 2 dice, 3 mana for 3 dice at 9th, 4 mana for 4 dice at 13th, and then 5 mana for 5 dice at 5th. You can expend 1 mana to roll a die, and at later levels, if the result is adding to a damage roll, all dice are added to the total damage. If the result is adding to a d20 test, only the highest result is added to the test result. Only the highest die roll, all dice rolled are added to the ability. If the result is adding to a d20 test, only the highest die roll is added to the test result. So this is a decreasing rate of return. At 1st level, I can only roll a single d6. At 5th level, I can roll 2 8-sided dice, but I can only keep one of the results. At 9th level, I can roll 6, 8, 10. At 11th level, I can roll. Brain is freezing. 5th level, it's 2 8-sided dice. 9th level, it's 3 8-sided dice, which becomes it becomes a D. Normally it's a D6 at 1st level, it's a D8 at 9th level, and it's a D6 at first. It's a D. It's a D6 at 1st level, a D10 at 9th level, a D12 at 17th level. That's like the fighter, the rogue, the barbarian. But the monk and the scion, they get a D6 at 1st, a D8 at 5th, a D10 at 11th, and a D12 at 17th level, because monk and scion. Just because. So when we are 5th level, we can have 2 mana D8s. At 9th level, we can have 3 D8s. But at 10th level, it can be 3d10. And then we have 17th level, it can be, at 13th level, it can be 4d10. And then at 17th level, it is 5d12. But again, if I'm spending 5 mana on d12 dice, I'm probably going to get like a 10, 11, or a 12. Out of those 5 dice, I'm probably going to get a high number like that. Do I need that? Do I need to spend that much mana to get that high of a result? The answer is sometimes. Depends on what the DC is and why you're rolling it. Sometimes you can just get away with 1 die, 1 mana. I've got a ton of mana. I've got 80 mana by 20th level. So me chucking an extra point of mana to get an extra D12 on my die roll, that's a no-brainer, sure. But do I need to throw 4 mana at it so I can throw 4 12-sided dice? If I need to roll a 7 or better, probably 4 mana is gonna I could get lucky with 1. It'd be even easier at 2 and 3. But for me to get 7, I probably want to spend 4 or 5 just to guarantee I'm going to get above average. Maybe. If you don't really care, just throw 1 die. If you kind of want to stick the landing, add more. So it has that flexibility, but you're just basically burning mana to have more dice to help increase your chance of having a higher number that's still within the bounded accuracy curve of nearly impossible equals 30. So that's actually an important note. So the final thing I want to say about this is energy dice don't stack. Let's word it differently. When you are using energy dice to modify d20 tests, You cannot use inspiration. You can't use bardic inspiration at the same time. That's the way that works with the power dice for the marshals as well, because that stacking, the inspiration die is basically giving you an energy die to roll. So it's kind of like double dipping the same ability, right? Expertise is when you double dip a proficiency modifier. You can't just have the same proficiency bonus twice from 2 different classes and add them together. This is intended to be the same way, so that you aren't just completely breaking the power curve. We already know throwing and adding the results of 5 12-sided dice together is broken. Using a bardic inspiration die to add a second power die to an ability check is similarly broken. So we need to have that opacity. We can't have they can't be porous to each other. They have to be opaque to each other. They can't be used at the same time. If my bard gave you inspiration, go ahead and use it. If you have your own means of fueling that ability with your own mana, go ahead and hold on to the bardic inspiration point. It'll still be there for you for something else. So I have to rearrange where I'm sitting. I've been drinking a lot of coffee, so I'm kind of rambunctious in my chair. So let's see. Okay, great. So this is working out so far. So with those rules, let's go back down. Like here's the psionics, right? Ego whip. When a creature triggers an opportunity attack, you can expend mana up to your max energy limit to roll an equal number of energy dice, dealing psychic damage equal to the result of the dice roll plus casting stat. So you have a built-in Ego Whip, which is basically a built-in high mana burning opportunity attack option that you can kit into. You can take these psionic disciplines. You can pick up psionic disciplines instead of preparing spells. It's like Ego Whip could be a spell. Devilish Tongue could be a spell. Kind of like how the Warlock has invocations. The Psion has psionic disciplines, but the psionic disciplines are folded into your spell prepared list, just like meta magic for sorcerers is folded into what your spell selection as a sorcerer. So a sorcerer could have just a couple cantrips, some bonus spells from their subclass, and then all their prepared spells could just be a huge stack of different meta magics that they could modify the small menu of things that they can do. They can modify the hell out of them. So fun option, fun flexibility option. That's making me think. That's making me think that when I build, so we have the Point Warlocks, which is spellcasting focused, but we also have a Gish version of the Warlock in this book that integrates with the martial power system. So instead of preparing spells, a Warlock can prepare martial powers. So your short rest mana fueled Warlock can do all the same stuff that a fighter can do, but gets all the bonus spells from their subclass, and they get high magic at 11th level plus with their Arcanum points. So they're a real Gish hybrid. I love that about the Warlock. So what I'm thinking now is that instead of giving them a separate list of invocations, just fold the invocations into the list of spells or powers that they can prepare, and just let them prepare as many invocations as they want. Who cares? So I don't see a reason to restrict that with this sort of a system being put in place. It simplifies the table, and it just announces that, hey, these are invocations. They're folded into the system. You can take these instead of spells. There you go. I'm thinking that's the direction that I want to go with this. But anyway, so you have all these psionic disciplines, which can be picked up as spell instead of prepared spells, and you can swap them out, obviously. Or subclass as well, the bonus spells that we automatically get. And then psionic feats, we're also looking at psionic feats being things that we can prepare. Just like a martial can prepare feats instead of martial powers, but you don't get the ability score bonus, obviously. So, but these are a little strong because you're getting 2 spells and a cantrip every time you take one. It's effectively like the magic. It's basically like a sculpted magic initiate feat. And it's a little strong. Easy enough. These can be prepared once you can prepare these as spells when you gain 5th level Psion. There we go. Because that's when you can, like Sentinel feat. A fighter can start preparing Sentinel feat instead of picking it up as a feat at 5th level and higher. So similarly, psionic feats, that makes sense. You're getting a 1st and 2nd level spell, which is not a 3rd level spell. And it's giving you a little kicker effect. So I think that feels a little bit more balanced and stays in alignment with what we're already doing with the power system in general. So the Warlock and the Psion are really the two Gishy classes. Warlock becomes an arcane martial Gish, and the Psion is a full caster arcane Gish. So I think that actually jives really nicely. I will eventually be doing a wild magic book, a wild color magic book for druids, where we're creating customizable lists of creatures that you can change shape into and benefits that you get by taking those different forms, and a template system to customize your own. Like I want my druid to be a chimera. For instance, when I do that, I have 3 attacks as well as a breath weapon from the dragon head. And I have flight, for example. Like I wouldn't be able to shift into that shape until, like, say 9th level, and it's going to cost me 5 mana to do it, as opposed to using a wild shape feature. We can disintegrate the wild shape as a separate class option and just fold it into the mana pool, so we can then use our mana pool to expend mana to just change our wild shape or to rebuff our temporary hit points or whatever. We'll have a lot more flexibility when we build Druid out into its unique. Like, we're going to leave the wild magic system in place for the core mechanics update for 2024. But when we step back and we start doing individual books for each class to further customize them down the spell point pool, that's an option that we can do. I actually ran Druid as a Warlock from level 1 to 20 for about 5 years. That the campaign ended a year ago, but she scaled Moon Druid from level 1 to 20 in the campaign using the mana system for wild shaping and invocations from the Warlock for wild shaping, and it went incredibly well. So I want to dive deeper into that. So we'll eventually get to that space. So trying to stay on task. When you take the, this is going to be shocking. You always have 5 seconds because for 3 the second level spell, biokinesis, spread of dying. There we go. When a spell you cast restores hit points to a creature, you can expend 1 mana to roll an energy die, adding the result to the total number of hit points healed. That's a single point use that scales over time. Because it's hit point healing, I'm really restrictive on how much use you can get out of it. However, for minor foreknowledge, when you take the search action, you can expend mana up to your max energy limit to roll an equal number of energy dice, adding the highest number rolled to the result of an ability check made as part of the action. So when I'm doing a search check, if I'm 13th level, I can spend 4 mana to roll 4 extra d10s and add the highest result of those d10s to the result of my search ability check, like wisdom ability check. Just like if I was using Bardic Inspiration, but I'm dumping a shitload of mana to try to make sure I get a high result on that d10. It's still within basically the rules of bounded accuracy without completely blowing it out of the water by adding a plus 40 to my die roll. It's at most going to be plus 10. I'm choosing how much mana I want to spend to try to get as close to 10 as possible, but still staying within the bounds of the game. So that's just an extra level of customization that I have I want to be really good at investigating. So when I investigate, I will dump extra mana into it to guarantee I get a good result because I investigate. Like, that's an identity you can build for yourself and back it up mechanically by spending your resources to make sure you stick that landing. It's a deeper level of mechanical design that puts more power into the character's hand to control their results without destroying the curve of what results can be, right? So that's the idea. So let's keep moving. Verbal or copy. That's a long diatribe about what we're doing with this game system, but it's probably necessary. When you reach character level 3, you also always have the See Invisibility spell prepared as a second level spell. No, I don't need to have that redundancy. It's redundant. I don't need it. You also always have the detect evil and good spell prepared. Period. That'll also help reduce the amount of text that it takes. Period. 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 Cool. Okay, great. So I think the rest of this might go pretty quickly. Let's see if that's true. I'm really looking forward to getting into the Echo Knight. I just got to get through these feats because I suspect I'm going to want to pick up some of these for the Echo Knight. So gotta do my diligence. Cryokinesis. Plus, I've been putting this off. This is something I meant to do a while ago, honestly, and I just never got around to it. Copy, paste, select all, copy. I misclicked. There. Ice manipulation. And psionic talent. And it doesn't have to be once per turn. That is unnecessary. It can just simply be when you cast a spell or hit with an attack roll that deals bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or psychic damage, you can change the damage type to cold damage. The martial power system that we already have in place, you can prepare cold as a damage type instead of preparing a power or a feat. And then if you have cold damage prepared, whenever you deal damage, you can deal cold damage regardless of what it's supposed to normally be. Lightning, bludgeoning, slashing, who cares? It's for you, it's cold damage. This allows the DM and the players to play tag or hammer, rock, scissors with ability vulnerabilities, resistances, and immunities. So me as a DM, I can make a creature immune to some sort of damage type because the team could then retreat, rest, and then prepare, swap out a damage type to be able to foil the damage type that like at the rank of a creature up to CR1, up to CR5, CR9, CR13, and then anything that's 14 plus, rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for gaining power. Monsters gain powers as well. That's also like first level spells, third level spells, fifth level spells, seventh level spells, ninth level spells. Rank creatures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth being CR 14 plus. So monsters have ranks as well to be able to fold into the system. And when you have a creature that has resistances, the appropriate amount of the appropriate amount of immunities or resistances that a creature will have can be up to their rank. So a 14 CR plus creature could be immune to up to 5 different types of damage. BPS poison plus, say, fire. So now you have to, and then if you do that, you want to give them a vulnerability. So they'll take double damage from something else, like say, cold. So now when you encounter this fire troll, you can't kill it with fire. You can't kill it with BPS or poison. The only way to kill this regenerating troll, you now find it has a vulnerability to cold damage. You could kill it with lightning, but if you're using cold damage, you can kill it quickly. So you can minionize that creature by making it vulnerable. There's also lethality. Lethality is whenever you deal any damage of this type to a creature, it dies. Like a smoke method, for instance, or a steam method would probably be a better example. When you hit a steam method with acid or fire damage, it immediately dies. So you can make minions out of methods and attack the team with floods of methods, dealing AoE damage effectively, and they can eliminate them by dealing this type of damage that basically just vanquishes them. It's eating up resources. It's more of a hazard than it is monsters attacking you, but it's a different gear that the DM has to use in the adventure to portray your character's power. If I'm a 17th level character fighting ice methods, get the fuck out of here. They're like CR 1/4. Well, if you have a mob of 70 of them attacking you, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Like, you're going to take like 15 points of damage per round that way. And they are vulnerable to fire or acid damage. So if I'm packing fire or acid damage, I can start sweeping out those 70 methods quickly, so they're not just going to whittle my party down to dead in no time. But it's a threat that has to be dealt with, that is efficiently dealt with if I'm using the appropriate type of damage. So you can have this sort of hammer rock scissors effect where intelligent creatures that are aware of immunities can switch which immunity they have, just like your characters can switch what kind of damage types that they do. They can also switch what their resistances are. So you can that becomes like a nemesis situation, that you can tell an intelligent enemy is evolving against the type of damage that your team is dealing. You can even do it like as a legendary action. The creature is now immune to cold damage. Shit, well, I'm using cold damage. I need a different strategy. Well, it's resistant to bludgeoning. Well, that's all I got left. So it's going to be a tough fight. Let's retreat and figure something out. Like that. I will digress. You know the Ray of Frost cantrip. You always have the Armor of Agathis and nice Ice Knife spells prepared. Period. When you cast these spells, they require no verbal or opponents, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So that one's done. Empath. Let's do this one. This will probably be similar to Clairsentience. It would have been cool if they had a different psionic feat for every ability score. So maybe we'll need to add some. Emotional sense. Sonic talent. When you take the influence action, there you go. Here. Take the influence action. You can expend mana up to your max energy limit to roll an equal number of energy dice, adding the highest number rolled to the result of an ability check made as part of that action. And you always have the Charm Person spell prepared. period. Calm emotion spell prepared. Here we go. See, this is going faster. We're doing it right, guys. What's next? Flesh Morpher, Mind Whisperer, Psy Trickster, Psychic Kineticist, and Pyrokinesis. 5 left. So let's keep moving. I think Flesh Warper is going to be like Cryokinesis. Is that what it's called? Flesh Morpher. Flexible flesh, it's a flexible flesh. Oh, looks like I was wrong. That's cool. Flexible flesh. And Sonic Talent. When you make a dexterity, acrobatics, or stealth check, you gain a bonus equal to your intelligence modifier. You can use this benefit a number of times equal to blah, 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 blah. When you make a dexterity, acrobatics, or sleight of hand check, you can expend mana up to check. You can expend mana up to your max energy limit to roll an equal number of energy die, adding the highest number rolled to the result of the ability check. Of the check. There. And then Sonic Talent. You always have Lawn Strider prepared. And when you reach 30, you get Ultra Spell prepared. Easy peasy. Copy. What's next? Mind Whisperer. Okay. Copy. Bop, bop, bop. I think it's only timer. Mind Whisper. Okay, we already get the telepathic feat for free as part of being in this class. But let's take a look at this. Limited telepathy. And Sonic Talent. Okay, so hold on real quick. Psionics. Energy dice, Sonic powers, telepathic connection. When you use the telepathic feat, you can expend 1 mana to communicate with a creature that doesn't share a language with you for a number of minutes equal to the result of the die roll. Alternatively, you can choose to tap 1 mana to maintain concentration on this effect as a level 1 spell, as a cantrip. And this reads, as a magic action, choose 1 creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself. You form a telepathic connection to that creature. For 1 hour, you and the chosen creature can communicate telepathically with each other while within a range of 120 feet of each other. To understand each other, you each must mentally use a language the other knows. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. Okay, limited telepathy is fine. Telepathic connection is expend 1 mana to communicate with a creature that doesn't share a language with you for a number of minutes equal to the result of the die roll. Alternatively, you gain the telepathic and telepathic feats. So let's go look at telepathic. That's a feat. Hey folks, how you guys doing? Thanks all for tagging in and checking it out. I love sharing this stuff with people. I'm really excited to building this into a book and creating the artwork for it. God, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be our 2026. Telepathic utterances. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself. Are in a language you know, and the creature understands you only if it knows that language. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond telepathically. So I can just do that for free, just to talk to a single creature within 60 feet, as long as it understands the language that I'm thinking in. But then we have the advanced telepathic connection, which is I spend a point of mana to communicate with a creature that doesn't share a language with me for a number of minutes equal to the result of the die roll. Of an energy die roll. Alternatively, I can tap 1 mana to maintain concentration on the effect as a cantrip, which is no limit. As long as I can maintain concentration on it, I can keep it up and running, but it is eating a point of concentration. And then we have telepathic, I think. And then we actually have the limited telepathy, which is as a magic action, choose 1 creature that you can see within 120 feet of yourself, which is double the range that you would normally have. You form a telepathic connection to that creature. For 1 hour, you and the chosen creature can communicate telepathically with each other while within 120 feet of each other. To understand each other, you each must mentally use a language the other knows. Okay, cool. So limited telepathy, I'm actually really, really good with that. As a magic action, choose 1 creature you can see with 120 feet. You have formed a telepathic connection for 1 hour. Chosen creature to understand. As a magic action, choose 1 creature you can see. You can expend 1 mana to choose 1 creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself. You form a telepathic connection with that creature for 1 hour. Understand each other to understand each other. And I can use it as often as I want because I'm burning mana to use it. As long as I got mana in my mana pool, I can use it. Sonic Talent, the Mind Sliver cantrip. You also always have the Dissonant Whispers spell prepared. Period. When you cast these spells, they don't require any components. So Mind Whisper is resolved, and let's keep hot-footing. Side Trickster. Almost done. Stay on target. And then we'll get into the Echo Knight. Athlete. Side Whisperer. Side Trickster. Pyrokinesis. Cool. 2 more after this. Almost done. Cunning Mind. Glad to hear it. We're almost there, guys. Stay on target. And we're going to be back at lunch tomorrow to do this Echo Knight's going to be a striker intended on getting the ball and scoring goals. The sorcerer we made on Tuesday, the wild mage, is a midline, is a mid-court controller and debuffer. Excuse me, I have to arrange myself in my chair. There we go. And then tomorrow, probably a monk. We'll build a goalie. We'll start with monk, and we'll probably get into barbarian later as well. Cunning mind, when you take a charisma deception check, you can gain. Okay. Copy. Nope. Copy. And then check, comma. It's weird that they have this energy die that the Psion gets, but they're not using it. Well, I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't, because these feats aren't designed necessarily for Psions. So I could see that. They're not doing it wrong, but we can switch it to mana because every character in the system uses mana. You know the minor illusion cantrip, you always have the disguise self prepared, period. When you cast these spells, they require no verbal components. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. And then bump, bump. Actually, let's copy that. And we got like psychokineticist is next, I guess. Yeah, psychokineticist. So let's assume that is going to be something similar to clairsentience. Psychokineticist. Oh, that's cool. This will be good. Psi boost and Psionic talent. Psi boost. When you take the dash action, you can increase your speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So when you take the dash action, you can expend a number of, you can expend mana up to your max energy limit, You can tap mana up to your max energy limit. Increasing your speed by 10 feet for every point of mana maintained this way. For every point of mana tapped, while you maintain, for as long as you maintain concentration. Thank you. For as long as you maintain concentration, period. So at 13th level, I could tap 4 mana to increase my speed by 40 feet. It's a concentration effect, and it will stay active for as long as I can maintain concentration or until I let it go. This is going to, it's 4 mana that I can ramp into. At 13th level, I have 7 levels of spells that I can cast. So the maximum amount of mana that I can tap at once to maintain effects is 7 mana. So at 13th level, I can eat 4 points of mana to increase my speed to 40 by 40 feet, and I still have enough mana left open for me to be able to concentrate on a 3rd level spell. So I can do this at the same time. There you go. Psionic talent, you know the telekinetic fling cantrip. You also always have the Thunder Wave spell prepared. Period. When you cast these spells, they require no verbal components. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. So at first level, I can sustain, I can tap 1 mana to maintain concentration to increase my speed by 10 feet. By 17th level, I can tap up to 5 mana to be able to increase my speed by 50 feet. A Echo Knight as a half-casting martial fighter, at 7th level, I'd be able to tap up to 2 mana to maintain concentration to increase my speed by 20 feet. If I don't have access to something otherwise, that's not a bad deal. Like, I don't naturally get access to the Long Strider spell, for instance, so that's not a bad pick. Like, it's a decent option. There's also sustained powers I can gain as a martial character that can do similar. But we're on to our last one, Pyrokinesis. I bet this one's going to be similar to Cryokinesis, so let's just go ahead and grab Cryokinesis and do the conversion. And Firestarter. Yeah. No. Orc strong. Blip, blip. Blop. No. Yes. Firestarter. And Psionic Talent. You know, produce flame cantrip. You always have Burning Hand spell prepared. Period. When you reach character level 3, you also always have the Scorching Ray spell prepared. Period. When you cast a spell or hit with an attack roll and deal bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or psychic damage, you can change the damage type to fire. There you go. Easy peasy. And you pick up these other things. That ain't bad. Okay, cool. So we're good here. You have all those picked out. We can now kick up to martial powers. So we're going to go up here and look at our power list. And we're going to go up here. We're going to get to the fighter. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. I bet we can get this guy built in an hour and bounce for the night. So let's see if we can succeed. Eldritch Knight. I want to drop down to the Forsakens and see if we can. There it is, Echo Knight. We're 7th level. Okay. First thing we want to do is actually let's look at the fighter. And now we can go to. Let's just grab this and see if I can just duplicate this format. Just swap shit out. Echo Knight Fighter. Oops. This is a horrible format. I need to do this differently. Maybe we'll take this information and figure out how to do a character sheet as a result of this. Echo Knight Fighter level 7. So we're going to go with standard array. I'm just going human. It's just easy. We're using standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8 as our base. Human gets a +2, +1. Oh no, we're using Quandrix. That's right. Race is human, so we get the luck points. And we get a free power, so we'll go ahead and take that. Our background is going to be Quandrix. Which is blue-green, as opposed to Silver Quill, which is white-black. Let's see. We get our +2, so we're gonna get we're gonna take strength to 17, and I don't know. Let's just take dexterity to 14. That feels good. So we'll have a +3, +6. We've got a +2. We've got a +2, +5, 0, +1, -1. Again, first rank power or meta power. That's going to help. Luck point is great. Quandrix. Let's look at the backgrounds for Quandrix. Here we go. Again, this document is down below if you want to look at it. Quandrix, blue-green, ability bonuses, intelligence, wisdom, or choose 2. So I can choose any 2 because flexibility. So yeah, 2 and 1, that's cool. So that's going to be Dex +1 and STR +1. I get a free feat. 1 type of artisan tools, Arcana, Nature. Not really useful. Proficient with artisan tool, proficient with how about mason sculpting tools? I get 21 credits, 7th level, which means I'm going to get the extended reach, anticipate, giant growth, and redirect spells powers. Which is a sustained power. For 2 mana, I can extend my reach for 10 feet. Anticipate is a reaction. Anticipate allows me when an enemy makes an attack roll, when an enemy attacks, before they make the attack roll, I can use my reaction to make an opportunity attack against them. Beacon of Hope, no. Giant Growth, which is a sustained power. Sustain 2. For 2 mana, I can become size large. Easy enough. For 4 mana, I become huge, but I can't get there until 13. And then Redirect. Redirect is a reaction. And what redirect does is, it's a second rank redirect. Right. What redirect does is, if an attack roll were to hit me or an ally, I can force them to re-roll their save. I can have them change the direction or target a different creature. So let's check real quick. That might be 3rd level now. Reactions. No, it's still 2. Here's how it reads. Redirect. As a reaction to when a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see hits you or another creature with an attack, you can redirect the attack from hitting the intended target to instead target another creature that you can see within range of both your and their melee attacks using the same attack roll. Limited use. If it would allow me to do that with a ranged attack, I would definitely change it to 3 mana. But for 2, that's good enough. For melee reach, 2 mana is fine. Because it has to both be within my reach and your reach, that target. So basically it has to be adjacent to both of us. It's basically what it really comes down to. And that's fine. But that's a really good goalie ability. Because the goal, for the goalie, the goal is treated as an ally. So if redirect comes in, I could direct you throwing the ball. Instead of hitting the goal, I can have you hit me instead. Oh shit, it's thrown. It's always a thrown attack. It's not a melee attack. That actually would not work. So this is probably going to end up being a dead ability. But oh well, can't be perfect. And then if we aren't using a familiar, but we could use the advanced familiar feature, which allows us to teleport and swap places with the familiar. In the game, the mascot is inside of a resilient sphere, an indestructible ball of force. It acts as like a hamster ball. That's tiny size, basically the size of a volleyball, that you can pick up and throw at the goal like rugby, but you're trying to hit a pole, a goal post. So that's what you're trying to hit, the goal post. And if you hit the goal post and deal any damage to it, you don't actually damage the post, but you have to deal damage for it to count as a hit. And if you do, you score a point. There you go. Congratulations. And then so the ball is a mascot, and in the match it's considered your familiar. So you can command the ball, and with the advanced familiar feature that you get from Strixhaven, you can actually swap places with the ball. So like if your enemy has stolen your ball, you can use your advanced familiar feature to swap places, so now your opponent is grappling with you, and the ball is just laying loose on the ground wherever you were. It's a way to get the ball out of your enemy's hands with a teleport effect. Super useful. And we aren't using bastion systems in Mage Tower, but if we did, we'd have college facilities as part of Quandrix. Once you've accumulated 15 college credits, they give you access to a lab on campus, which could either be an arcane study or a scriptorum. At 7th level, it's the other one. So if I chose arcane study at 5th, when I hit 21 college credits, I can get a scriptorum as well. And then at 9th level, I can get more facilities, a sacristy as well as a sanctuary. It just continues scaling up. I'll eventually get a demiplane and a reliquary in my college campus dorm. Yeah, it just scales up. But this is just a way for you to build a bastion inside of the Strixhaven system. And you earn those facilities because you've accumulated so many college credits in Quandrix that they're giving you research, they're giving you resources in the form of the bastion facilities to continue your research of understanding blue-green magic so that you can eventually become faculty, do some undergrad work, become faculty, and potentially eventually join the Collegiate Council to help guide the direction of Quandrix in the future. And you gain these with your credits. By 17th level, you can actually be on the Collegiate Board. And if you're on the Collegiate Council, that basically means that you can get specifically, you can order lower level faculty and students to perform tasks like as part of the Bastion system. And you can also get directions directly from the Dragon Silver Quandrix to execute missions that the dragon wants done to further the cause of the Quandrix College. So you're gaining higher prestige, kind of like with the Renown system in Ravnica. This is a way for you to gain scholastic accolades in your advancements in the mana of the school, of the college that you're devoted to in your studies. In this case of Quandrix, it's blue-green. So this is an Echo Knight that's gaining these accolades. So let's see. Let's go back up to the fighter. Now that we've got Quandrix in place, we can go up to the fighter and start building the fighter and then the Echo Knight. Rogue, all the subclasses, both the ones in the 2024 book, as well as all the Forsaken subclasses that didn't make the 2024 cut, that are official content, they're all in here as well, updated for both 2024 and the Mana Conversion Project. They're not all going to be in the books that we published initially. Some of this might just be on my Patreon. Some of it we might build out into an actual deck. We'll see. We'll see what's appropriate. But I'm just putting it all here for the thoroughness of the playtesting that we're doing on my Discord channel on Saturdays. We're running a mega dungeon. We're currently 7th level. So let's look at a fighter and see what the fighter can do. Here's our scaffold for the fighter. We get the channeling class feature, we get second wind, and we get tactical recovery. And then at second level, we get action surge, tactical mind. Third level, we get our subclass. Fourth level, we get a feat. Fifth level, we get extra attack and tactical shift. Sixth level, we get a feat. And at 7th level, we get our second subclass feature. Notice here, it doesn't have weapon masteries or fighting style listed, because with the mechanics that we're using, those are considered meta powers. So instead of preparing one of these various powers that require mana, we can pick up a weapon mastery or a combat mastery. With this system, if you're a martial character and you're proficient with a weapon, you can automatically use the weapon mastery associated with that weapon. Just pick it up and use it. You're trained with it and you're a martial character, you should be able to use it. However, you can prepare weapon masteries to be combat masteries so that if it would make sense, you can use them. Like cleave with a ranged weapon doesn't make sense because it's a projectile weapon. It's like hitting twice with the same weapon. That's like arcane archer stuff. That's not just that wouldn't be a mastery property. So like cleave would be a melee weapon, but any melee weapon that you're wielding, if you've prepared cleave as a combat mastery, melee only. If you hit a creature with a melee attack roll with this weapon, you can make a melee attack roll with this weapon against a second creature within 5 feet of the first that is also within reach. On a hit, the second creature takes the weapon's damage. You don't add your ability modifier to the damage unless the modifier is negative. You can make this extra attack only once per turn. The second attack cannot use another mastery or a strike power like a Paladin Smite or anything like that. It's just the raw damage of it. And you can't use any other masteries. The cleave itself is a mastery. These masteries are considered cantrips versus like the Paladin Smite selections or spells. You can't use you can't use a bonus action to cast both a cantrip and a smite spell at the same time. So when you're ramping damage with a Paladin Smite spell, you aren't adding the cantrip damage to it as well. This is sort of that same idea. I could do a strike power that like lets me banish somebody, but I can't also cleave with that because I would be double dipping the action economy of adding an effect onto your weapon, unless you're using Martial Strike, which is basically you deal damage and you can choose a mastery. So you can spend mana to deal more damage and you can do a mastery. And if you don't care what kind of damage it is, it's either the damage type of the weapon or any damage type that you have prepared, or if you're using it as part of a Paladin Smite effect, radiant damage. Those are basically your 3 options. But you can prepare any type of damage that you want, so it can be anything. So that's an example. So that's why weapon masteries and fighting styles aren't listed, because you can prepare as many combat masteries as you want, and you automatically have access to the mastery that's a property of the weapon. And then for feats, origin feats you can learn. You can prepare origin feats at first level. Notice that skilled is not added here. And then fighting styles are also first rank powers. So I could pick up archery, defense, and great weapon fighting if I wanted to. I could pick those up as first rank powers instead of, and I could prepare them instead of like preparing like redirect and banishing, whatever, run. Who knows? And then general feats I can prepare at 5th level as second rank powers. So like once I get access to second rank powers, which means I have to be 5th level in a single class. Once I get there, I can pick any of these general feats. And then these are the epic boons that we can select, which we can get access to as a 17th level single class character. We also get the general epic boon at 19th level, but the martial characters, they don't get any ability score increases, but they can use these epic boons. But the combat prowess boon is banned from Mage Tower, because the combat prowess boon is once per round. If you miss with an attack, you hit instead. And that would just making scoring points too easy. It'd just be too easy. So we can't allow that into the Mage Tower game. So looking at the individual class features, let's go here. We've got our background resolved, sorcerer abilities, channeling, second rank, up to 2 mana. Subclass features, 3rd and 7th. No innate sorcery, but we do have second wind. We have action surge. Eight powers. 7 mana. Blue and green because of Quandrix. Subclass equals Echo Knight. Gains 4 powers up to 2nd rank. Echo. And something else. Power list. Feat is Power Initiate. Twice. Possibly. Stat bonus. STR +2. So that's the 4th level feat is stat bonus. So we'll take strength up to 19. It's going to be a +4, +7. No cantrips. Quandrix. Did we already do this? Oh yeah, we're doing it again just to have them down here. Seven equals, and then we have our list of prepared, which we'll get to. Feat power spell list. Up here we gotta go feat power spell list. We won't have any spells as an Echo Knight. We'll have bonus. We will have bonus powers though. Feats, Quandric, Echo. No. 3 equals, 5 equals. There. 2, 2. That's, nope, that's not right. 1, 3. Nope, I did it the right way there. 3, 5, and 5, because that's when we gained them. Quandrix, prepared powers, Quandrix, 3 credits, 9 credits, 15 credits, 21 credits. Echo Knight, Echo abilities, fighter abilities. Okay, we're almost done. So fighter abilities, let's go through them. Channeling, martial powers. We gain a number of powers. So here's the breakdown. We get 2 second wins at first level. Our power die is a D6. It'll be a D8 at 9th level, but we're only 7th right now. Our max rank of power at 5th level is 2. We have a total of 10 prepared powers at 7th level. We can channel up to 2 mana at a time. We get a total of 3 second wins by 7th level. And the max and the amount of mana that we have is 7 mana. We gain that mana back on a short rest, 10 powers. Second wind times 3 equals, so let's look at all the powers. Channel ability, we get our mana pool, blah, blah, blah. Second wind, as a bonus action, you can use it to regain hit points equal to D10 plus your fighter level. 3 times equals 1D10 plus 7 HP equals bonus action. Bonus action equals, you can use this feature twice. You regain 1 expended use when you finish a short rest, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. You gain 1 additional use at 4th and 10th. So subclass feature 3 and 10, bonus action, regain 1 SR, all LR. Action surge. Hold on. Let's do tactical recovery next. Tactical recovery. Period. Tactical recovery is when you activate second wind, rather than gaining hit points, you can regain a number of mana equal to the max rank of power gained as a fighter. So at first level, it's only 1 mana, but you get it back twice. So basically, per short rest, you get at first level, you've got 1 mana in your mana pool, which you get back on a short rest. But you have 2 tactical recoveries. If you don't want to use your second wind to get back mana, you can instead use it to get back 1 point of mana each. So at level 1, on a short rest, you could have 3 mana. If you spend your tactical recovery, you take your short rest, you get your 1 point of mana back, and you get a tactical recovery back. So I could do 3 mana, short rest, another 2 mana, and then I could take, if I'm on a 2 per 1 schedule, I'd get another 2 mana, that's 7, and then I'd get my long rest. If it's 1 long rest if it's 1 short rest per long rest, if that's how we're pacing our days, then it would be 5 mana before I take a long rest at first level. That's a lot of mana for me to dump these effects into. But none of these effects are as powerful as spellcasting is. But spellcasters at first level, they get 2 or 3 mana plus a bunch of cantrips. So, and they all get, if you're using the short rest system, they also get a tactical recovery equal to the level of spell that they cast. So at first level, on a short rest, they would start with 2, and then they would get 3 from their short rest. So they would have 3 mana per long rest. As a full caster, a sorcerer would have 5 because of the sorcerer regeneration that you get. Yeah, there you go. Action surge. Let's see. Instead, when using second wind, restores 2 mana instead of HP. Action surge times 1. On your turn, you can take an additional action. On your turn, you can take an additional action except magic action. So an action can be used. Maneuvers are magic action or bonus action. So you wouldn't be able to use a maneuver as like for your bonus action. If you took the attack maneuvers feat, or sorry, the attack maneuvers power, you could use maneuvers instead of attacks during your attack action. So you could, using action surge at 7th level, pick up an extra 2 attacks, which would allow you to use them as additional maneuvers if you want to spend the mana on it. That's an option that's available to you, and we might take advantage of that. We'll see. Action surge ×1, tactical recovery. We're doing great. Subclass features. Let's see, what else do we get? Tactical mind. When you fail an ability check, you can expend a use of your second wind. Instead of regaining hit points, you roll a d10 and add the result to the ability check, potentially turning it into a success. If the check fails, this use of second wind isn't wasted. Tactical mind. Second wind adds a power die to an ability if it still fails. If it fails, the second wind isn't wasted, isn't spent. That's a second wind. Add a power die. You know what? Honestly, I think I want to change that. When you fail an ability check, you can expend a use of your second wind. Instead of regaining hit points, you roll a power die. And add the result to the ability check, potentially turning it into a success. If the check still fails, this use of second wind isn't expended. I feel like I want to further modify that. Hold on. Yes. So when you fail an ability check, when you expend mana to increase the result of an ability check, if the result still fails, if the result fails, you can expend a use of second wind regaining the mana spent instead of regaining HP. So if I were to spend 3 mana at 9th level, if I were at 7th level, so at 7th level, if I were to spend 2 mana to roll an extra 2d6 to increase the result of an ability check that I make, but I still fail, I can expend a use of my second wind and get both of those points of mana back. There you go. I like that. That's good. Tactical mind, subclass, feat. Feat, extra attack, tactical shift, period. When you expend a use of second wind as a bonus action, you can move half your speed without provoking OA. VOA. And that's okay, so that's the last thing we get from the fighter. So now let's go down to the Echo Knight. We're figuring it out, guys. Samurai, Rune Knight, Cavalier, Echo Knight. Subtle channeling and step mastery. So subtle channeling, let's see. That's all we get. Echo Knight, subclass, gain 4 powers up to 2nd rank. Bonus powers, see below. Echo bonus powers. We get subtle channeling. Not very useful right now. Subtle channeling allows us to channel powers without any kind of a visual evidence. Like when we don't have VSM components when we're using powers. It's just spend mana, do the thing. But because there is no VSM to give away like spellcasting does, there's always some sort of a magical flare effect, like some sort of visual color effect, a blue or green because I'm Quandrix, or both, that reveals that I am using powers, or that like like I glow blue, and like I use a levitate power to like lift. I use lift to pick up my target so that they're floating in air and they're stuck. They could be surrounded by a green energy while I'm glowing blue to control it, for instance. Or there could be like a tether between me and them of blue-green energy that's flowing back and forth, for instance. So whatever the visual is, it's mine. But there has to be some sort of a visual that reveals that I am the one that's wielding the power. So how I want to narrate, that's up to me. But if I'm using subtle channeling, I can expend mana to keep that aura effect inside of myself so I don't reveal that I'm using it. It's just a way to not give away that you're using power. And, that seemed appropriate for the Echo Knight. We get the Step Mastery, which is whenever I'm making an attack, I can take a 5-foot step without provoking an opportunity attack in the process. Saving Grace, the 2nd rank reaction, which is basically it's 2nd rank, so I have to spend at least 2 mana on it. At 7th level, all I can do is spend 2 mana. But Saving Grace is whenever I fail a d20 test, as a reaction, I can expend up to 2 mana to roll 2d6, and if I succeed, and then if those, I can add those die rolls, and that could change it into a success. This works really well with Tactical Mind, which is like if I'm using Saving Grace with an ability check, I can hit the reaction to ramp the results, and if I still fail, I get those 2 points of mana back with the Tactical Mind feature. So those are my bonus, and then Saving Grace, and I also get Empowered Synergy. Empowered Synergy. This is an exploit. So this modifies another action or a die roll. So Empowered Synergy is that when I use a maneuver, which is either a magic action or a bonus action, whenever let's look at it specifically because I think it has a limitation on it. Here we go. Empowered Synergy. When you channel a maneuver or a sustained power, which can be done as a magic action or as a bonus action, you can do them both in the same turn if you want. So I can use 2 maneuvers as a magic action and as a bonus action. And when I do, I can make a weapon attack with advantage as part of channeling that maneuver. This attack can be made before, after, or while you channel the power. So Empowered Synergy, it costs 2 mana. So I have to already spend mana, like for example, a combination that I know I'm going to use. But I don't. Oh, I don't have access to it. I don't think I have access to it yet. Hold on. Shit. Yeah, I don't have access to it until 9th level. Flicker Pounce. You can tell this is a maneuver. So I can use this as a magic action or as a bonus action. I can do it twice in the same round. You can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see and attack a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see. If the attack succeeds, you can choose to teleport back to your original position. If the attack fails, I can't teleport the second time. So this costs 3 mana for me to use, like say, as an attack action. And then with Empowered Synergy, I could spend 2 more mana, and when I Flicker Pounce in and make my attack, I can do a second attack with the Empowered Synergy to hit twice. And then if I hit, I can bounce back again. I could then, on a bonus action, spend 3 mana to Flicker Pounce in again, and then spend another 2 mana to hit again with advantage, and then Flicker Pounce out. So as an action and a bonus action, as a 9th level character, regardless of what type of a martial character it is, I can sack my magic action and my bonus action, spend 7 mana in the process, teleport twice, hitting each teleport target twice. I get a total of 4 attacks and 2 teleports, but it's expensive. It's 7 mana. At 9th level, I only have 9. So like, I can only really do that once, but it's really cool when I can. So some of these things are expensive, but like for an Echo Knight playing Mage Tower, that would be really, really good because I can teleport in and like Flicker Pounce. I can teleport in 30 feet, throw the ball, and then I can teleport back if I hit the goal. Well, the match is over. If I don't hit the goal, I'm 30 feet closer to the goal for me to then run and grab the ball. And then as a bonus with my move action, and then as a bonus action, I can Flicker Pounce again to bounce in 30 feet, attack the goal, and then maybe hit the goal. So I've got a lot of mobility features available to me with Flicker Pounce, which will be really useful in Mage Tower. But I don't have access to it yet because I'm only 7th level. So we'll get there. Now we have our list of prepared powers. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There. Okay, there's my prepared powers list. Let's go look at the Echo Knight again real quick to see what subclass features we get. So, Manifest Echo. You can create an echo within 30 feet of yourself at a location that you can see as a maneuver without expending mana. So, it takes either a magic action or a bonus action for me to be able to produce my echo. It doesn't cost any mana to do it. If you create another echo, the first is destroyed. The echo is destroyed if it's more than 30 feet away from you. During your turn, you can spend 15 feet of movement to switch positions between you and your echo. This is a great striker ability. It's a teleport effect. It gets me 30 feet closer to the goal with the ball for me to throw it. If you create another echo, the first is destroyed. During your turn, you can spend 15 feet to teleport to the location of your echo. Echo has armor class 14 plus your max rank of power, so my echo has an armor class of 16. The echo is a non-flammable object with 1 hit point. When it takes any damage, it is destroyed unless you choose to take the damage on behalf of the echo. So you can keep your echo around, but it will hurt you to keep it there. Otherwise, if it takes any damage, it is gone. Unless you choose to take damage for it, in which case it stays. And then Unleash Incarnation. Let's go with Manifest Echo. Equals AC 16. AC 16 is Manifest Echo maneuver equals AC 16 double of yourself, spend 15 feet movement, create up to equals create an AC 16 double of yourself within 30 feet. Spend 15 feet. To swap locations with the Echo. AC 16, 1 HP double of yourself. If you're more than 30 feet away, it's dismissed. And then we have Manifest Echo, Unleash Incarnation. Unleash Incarnation equals... you can make an attack against a creature that is within reach of you or your Echo. You can use a reaction from your position or the Echo's. You can use a bonus action to make a weapon attack from the Echo's position, including when you use a bonus action to manifest the Echo. When you channel a power, it can originate from your Echo. You can attack. Unleash Incarnation equals period. As a bonus action, including when manifest Echo, you can make a weapon attack from the Echo location. You can make, you can take reactions from your Echo position. Powers you channel can originate from your Echo. And 7th Echo Avatar. I should be bolding these, but I'll bold in a second. Echo Avatar is as a second rank sustained effect. So it's going to cost me 2 mana to turn it on, and when it's on at 7th level, it's the only thing I can either be concentrating on or sustaining, because I only have two slots of mana for me to sustain powers with. So Echo Avatar, as a second rank sustained effect, you can mentally receive visual information from your Echo, expanding your perception to see in every direction. If you have dark vision, sustaining your Echo this way does as well. While sustaining the Echo this way as a maneuver without expending mana, you can move it up to 30 feet in any direction, which means as an action or a bonus action I can move it. And it is no longer limited to 30 feet distance from me. A solid barrier blocks the Echo's movement, but it can pass through an opening as small as 1 inch in diameter. While the Echo is farther than 30 feet away from you, I can no longer switch locations with it, channel powers, or make attacks or reactions from it. Echo Avatar as a sustain 2, period. Maneuver 0. While sustaining this feature, your Echo is not limited to 30 feet, and you can see from its location. It can pass through 1 inch openings, but you cannot use Unleash Incarnation while it's beyond 30 feet. But you can take damage for it, so it can stick around. And that's my subclass features. What time is it? It's 8:50. We still have a little bit of time. Let's go shopping, shan't we? We have 10 prepared powers. Let's see if we can find some good ones. I do not see Echo Avatar being useful at all in Mage Tower. Unleash Incarnation is going to be incredibly useful. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about tying up our sustained abilities there. However, Giant Growth is sustained. Giant Growth gives us extra reach, which isn't really necessary as a defender. A striker wants to be able to make to score a goal. It's a thrown weapon attack. So having increased size is useful. I'll give you. Well, it gives you more reach for a melee attack. So it's good for blocking, and it's more of a goalie defender sort of power to have. But we have it if we need it. Anticipate is also a defender, because like anticipate, like we were saying, as a reaction to when someone's going to make an attack, you can attack them first, but they have to be within melee reach. So the anticipate, it would work as when they're going to throw the ball, if they're within melee reach of me. I could use a disarming strike, for instance, to knock the ball out of their hand before they can actually throw the ball. That's how anticipate works. So super useful. Extended reach, again, this is all really good goalie stuff. Honestly, extended reach gives me a longer reach, which could stack with Giant Growth. Giant Growth gives me a 10-foot reach. If I was third rank, if I was 9th level, I could sustain 1 rank of extended reach and then 2 ranks of Giant Growth to have a 15-foot reach instead of a 10-foot reach. At 13th level, I could stay large size with a 10-foot reach and expand my extended reach to another 10 feet for 20 feet. Or at 13th level, I have to spend 4 mana to become huge, which will only be a 15-foot reach. At 17th level, I could become large for a 10-foot reach and another 3 points of extended reach to give me a 25-foot reach, which I would then be able to use with Anticipate to knock the ball out of your hand. God damn, I really, okay, now I'm starting to think that the Echo Knight actually is a good goalie. So if I were doing a 2v2 Echo Knight with that Sorcerer, that would not be a bad mix, because the Echo Knight has enough mobility from the center line to be able to close distances. So if I'm here at the half court and I go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, I could drop an Echo Knight here and then spin 15 feet of movement to jump to that location and then fire the ball. And then I could use Incarnate Unleash as a bonus action. I could look to this location and then fire the ball. If I miss or don't deal any damage, then I could spend 15 feet of movement to actually arrive at that point and then start chasing down the ball so I can throw it again. Or I could use my Incarnation Unleash to bonus action to here to fire, and then I could use as a bonus, like that would be my magic action. Then as a bonus action, I could create an avatar. I could create an Echo here. And then so this one would disappear. This one appears, and then I could spend 15 feet of movement to appear to replace my position with that Echo Knight, and then I could close 15 feet here to potentially intercept or interrupt or prevent the enemy striker from being able to take a shot at a goal by using my reaction to Anticipate with a 25-foot reach. So once I drop into this point, I actually probably wouldn't. 15 feet would be plenty of movement. I could get all the way up to the goal. So I could move 15 feet and have plenty of reach to be able to smack the ball out of their hands. That's really good. This guy can do both. So this is a mid-range threat. This isn't a close-range striker. This is a distance mobility striker and a decent midline defender. So between this and and the Wild Mage Sorcerer, the debuffer that we built, we could do a lot of good control. There's a lot of potential there. I really like that. That's cool. Okay, cool. I love that. Okay, great. So we're looking really good. This guy's really cool. Let's go back down to what else we get with our Echo Knight. God, this might just have to be our goalie. Maybe we'll build a barbarian on tomorrow and make a striker out of the barbarian. We'll see. Subtle channeling step. The step mastery allows us whenever we make an attack, we can take a 5-foot step. That's including like when we do opportunity attacks, like with anticipate. That's right. So we want disarming strike for sure, because that allows us to knock a ball out of the hand when we use anticipate. And but since we're using disarming strike, we can't step while we use that at the same time. That's fair. The Echo Knight is considered a maneuver. So when I create the Echo Knight, I can also make an attack, even if it's a magic action, not a bonus action. That's really useful. Disarming strike is strike 1. Equals add damage, add 1 power die damage per mana, plus disarm, save, increase DC equal to highest power die roll. Disarm weapon, disarm equals 10 feet per mana spent. So if I spend 2 mana as a 7th level character, I can do an extra 2 damage to damage, but we're not hurting each other. But if this was a normal campaign, I'd do an extra 2d6 damage with a hit. And whatever the result of those 2d6s, whichever one of those die is higher, I add that to the DC. My DC as a channeler, the DC is going to be 8 plus 7. It's a DC 15. Using strength. So I would have a DC 15 plus the highest of the 2 D6s that I rolled with the disarming strike, potentially a DC 31. And if they can't succeed a strength saving throw versus DC 21, sorry, it'd be a 21. If they can't succeed a DC saving throw, strength saving throw DC 21, I disarm them. And if they were holding their ball trying to make an attack, I then Echo Blink in, anticipate, disarming strike, and then the ball gets knocked out of their hand, and I can have that ball land anywhere within 20 feet of them, any direction that I want to, preferably further away from my goal, so that they have to backtrack to get the ball and then advance again. Again, looking at the court, you have to be within 40 feet to make an attack with disadvantage, and you have to be within 20 feet. Let's zoom in. Here's the goal. Each is 5 feet. This is 5-foot elevation, 10-foot elevation, 15-foot elevation. It's considered climbing difficult terrain. So if I were to start here and I want to end up here next to the goal, that'd be 20 feet of movement that I would have to take. So it's just difficult terrain. It's a pyramid. So I have to climb. It's 20-foot normal range, 40-foot long range for me to throw the force ball containing my mascot at the goal. I have to deal at least 1 point of damage to the goal to be able to count it as a point, because a monk can use deflect attack to zero out the damage that you deal, which would basically be blocking the shot, nullifying the attack. I don't need any special strikes to be able to actually throw the ball to hit a goal if I wanted to. So I think since we're now reconfiguring this, we're gonna label this as midfield defense debuff, defense controller. Echo Knight. We're going to call the Echo Knight a midfield striker goalie. Oh, I get bonus powers from Power Initiate and Human and Power Initiate Quandrix. So that's actually 12 powers that we get. Never mind. Because I have them listed up here already. So we're going to go with this one. You know, we're going to go Disarming Strike, STR1. We just did that one. And what's going to be another good one? Let's see, coordinated attack, coordinated dash. You can empower one ally per mana expended this way that you can see or hear you to use their reaction to move up to half their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. So coordinated dash, and you can empower one ally per mana expended this way that you can see or hear to use their reaction to make a weapon attack, rolling one power die per mana expended this way, adding the highest result to the attack against a target you and your ally can see. So if I'm going to be a midline goalie striker, and I'm going to have a frontline striker, then that means that I could be using coordinated attack and coordinated dash when I don't have a striker near me and my team is advancing on the goalie. I could use this, expend this way to see here to use their reaction to make an extra. They could use an attack as a reaction, so I can coordinate my actions with theirs so that they get into position, and then it's my turn. I'm going to use coordinated attack so that my ally with the ball can now make a shot at the goal, potentially resetting the round, and me not having me being able to not have to take any other actions. Coordinated dash, you can empower one ally. You can, or similarly, at the end of my action, I could have my ally use their reaction to move half their speed closer to the goal, and then it's their turn, and now they have their full round already within perhaps range of the target to be able to score a goal. So I think coordinated attack and coordinated dash are both super useful. So let's go with coordinated attack and coordinated dash. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I'm going to skip adding all the descriptions to the text here because I just want to get done because I'm almost out of time. Distract. Target creatures that you can see and can see you cannot take opportunity attacks. Nah, that's not going to be useful. Target creature that you can see and that can see and hear you makes attacks against creatures other than you with disadvantage until it successfully hits you, or succeeds an intelligence saving throw. So even if they're within normal range of the goal, if I hit them with goad, they're going to be a disadvantage on their attack roll. And that's maneuver. That's really useful. So we're going to go maneuver, 1, maneuver 1. Goad. Maneuver 1. It automatically takes effect. They have to save their way out of it. So I'm going to skip descriptions for now. Coordinated dash, coordinated attack. Choose a creature that you can see standing on a surface that can support its weight, up to size large. It takes one power die of force damage per mana expended this way and is knocked prone. That slows people down. Shunt. Target one creature up to one size larger than you that you can see per mana expended. The target must make a strength saving throw and be pushed up to 10 feet per mana channeled in any direction. You can roll a number of power dice equal to the mana expended, adding the highest roll to the save DC. Strength saving throw will get pushed with 2 mana, 20 feet, 2d6, adding it to my 15, potentially a strength save DC 21. Yeah, let's use Shunt. That's maneuver 2. That'll push people away. I like that. Let's look at some exploits. Overrun. We don't need we're not actually dealing damage or trying to kill opponents. We're just trying to score a point and get around targets. So, quick assessment, quick engagement. You can use a bonus action to influence or study. Now, I don't think those are going to be useful. Rush attack. Well, you can channel this exploit as part of a move action. When you move at least 10 feet during your turn, the first attack you make before your next turn is rolled with advantage. And you can roll 1 power die per mana expended this way, adding the highest result to your die roll. So rush attack is actually really useful for a striker. So we're going to go exploit 1. One, two, three, four. Slippery. Subtle channeling. Slippery. When you take a disengage action, you can end the prone condition or make a strength and dexterity check to end the grappled or restrained condition, rolling with advantage. That's really useful for rogues getting out of being squeezed, but I don't think it's as useful for... I'm a defender, so I don't think... I've got the teleport, so I don't think I need that. Abundant Step, you gain the fly speed equal to your walking speed. I can kick it for 1 mana to double my flight speed, but I can't kick it again until 9th level when I'd have to spend 3 mana to triple my speed. Precise Attack, when you make an attack against a target with less than full cover, you can ignore the benefits of cover and roll a number of power dice equal to the amount of mana expended this way, adding the highest roll to your attack results. Precise Attack is really useful. Because it's an exploit, it doesn't actually take any action economy. I just spend mana. Because if I have a goalie that's standing in front of the goal, they're going to give the goal a +2 bonus, making it more difficult for me to hit. I can ignore that, and I get to ramp my attack rolls. That's super useful. Vanish, that's on flavor for the Echo Knight in general. Exploit 2. When you take the hide action, you can do so even if you don't have any cover to hide behind. And the minimum result of your stealth check is 15, even if your roll is lower, because you have to roll at least a 15 to hide. You can remain hidden this way even if you aren't behind an object that can conceal you until the beginning of your next turn. The hide condition, but you are revealed the hide condition ends if you attack or cast a spell. Cast a spell or channel a power as usual. First strike when you roll. Oh, that's 3rd rank. I can't get access to that yet. Yeah, I think Vanish works. Let's add that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 4 more to go, and then we're done building our Echo Knight, and he'll be ready to roll out into the field of battle. So we already have Disarming Strike taken care of. We got that set up. Let's look at reactions. There might be some reactions in here that we enjoy. Anticipate. Did we get Anticipate already? Yeah. Oh, Bait and Switch. You can expend 1 mana to switch places with a creature. Switching places this way doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, nor does it cause an attack to fail. Now that one, you can't switch places with your goal because it's fixed in the ground. Deflection, which is considered an opportunity. Oh, that's right, Opportunist. We have to take Opportunist because we're a goalie. Feat. Let's go look at Opportunist real quick. Here's how Opportunist works. It's a feat. It's a fighting style. You can take a number of additional reactions each round equal to your max rank of power. At 7th level, it's 2 of them. These reactions can be used to channel any reaction powers with the Opportunist tag you have prepared. You can take more than one Opportunist reaction per turn, but you can only use 1 reaction per triggered circumstance. So Opportunist allows me to take 2 extra reactions. And there's not a lot of different reactions that have the Opportunist tag, but they're good ones. They're good ones for goalies. And for tanks that are trying to defend casters. Bait and switch allows me to swap positions with somebody and boost somebody's armor class. Deflection is an Opportunist ability, which is, it costs 1 mana, but as a reaction to when you or an ally within reach of your melee attack are hit by an attack roll from a source that you can see, the attack is re-rolled, taking the new result. This result cannot score a critical hit. So deflection is a fantastic goalie ability. Deflection, react, op 1. You know, tying into the Opportunist. Oh my god, 2 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, only 2 left. As a reaction to when you miss an attack roll, you can roll again, potentially turning the miss into a hit. Kicker effect. Roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. Nice. Okay, a feint we should take for when we're striking. So that feels right. But let's pencil that in. Which is a reaction 1, right? Yeah. Let's see. Interpose. As a reaction to when an ally within reach of your melee attack takes damage from a source you can see, you can take any portion of that damage and gain resistance to it. So interpose would automatically shut down Oh, that's right. Interpose is banned. I think it's on our banned list because it shuts down all damage. There's no variable. It just automatically shuts down damage. In actual combat, it's designed to make you soak damage instead of your squishy casters. It's a tanking ability. But in this game, it's broken because it automatically prevents people from making a goal without any die rolls. Let's verify. It's on. Yeah, Interpose is on the banned list. Only one of two powers that are actually banned. That's great. So Interpose is off the list, but reposition as a reaction to when a creature that you can see moves within reach of their melee weapon. When a creature you can see moves within reach of their melee, moves within reach of you, within reach of their melee weapon attacks, moves within reach of attacking you with their melee weapon attacks. There we go. You can move 10 feet. That's actually a really good striker ability because if somebody's trying to close distance with you, you can hop away from them. Or wait a second, is it away from them? As when a creature you can see moves within reach of an attacking of you, you can move 10 feet. It doesn't matter what direction. So reposition. And that's an Opportunist. Oh, that's so good for a striker. REA. Op 1. This allows me to close distance with a goal if I get intercepted at midline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my build. So we've successfully built a goalie mid-range striker. Not bad. It can teleport in both to defend goal or to make attacks if they have the ball. They have the ability to anticipate attacks, to disarm strikes that are coming in near the goal. Currently, they can have a reach of 10 feet as large-sized creatures, or as medium-sized creatures, with extended reach. Either way, it's no, extended reach can be used twice, so I can get a 15-foot reach with extended reach as a sustained power. That's going to be all I can sustain or concentrate on. So I'll have a 15-foot reach for me to be able to anticipate attacks, to be able to disarm if they attempt to make an attack on my goal within 15 feet of me. I've got opportunists for multiple retaliation style opportunity attacks against them. That's important because, well, actually it's not as important. It allows me, if they have, at 5th level, I have 3 reactions per round. So I can, if there's 3 strikers and they're all making attacks on the goal, I have the potential as a goalie to deflect all of those attacks. So that's not bad at all. Saving Grace ramps my D20 tests. Step gives me extra distance with attacks. So if I disarm, I can close distance. I can shove people away with Shunt. I can get a bonus on attack rolls if I charge the goal. I can help my teammates use their reaction to make an attack or to close distance. I can use reposition while I'm striking. If somebody attempts to disarm me, I can gain 10 feet of movement to potentially evade the attack. Deflection knocks a ball out of their hand. I can use that to neutralize damage to the goal if I'm acting as a goalie. Precise attack ramps my ability to disarm as well as to fire on the goal. Vanish makes me invisible, hard to track while I'm closing distance with the goal. And then Feint lets me re-roll attack rolls for disarming strikes or for making shots at the goal. This is a pretty well built dude. I bet this would be fun to use. God, there's some I'm really looking forward to playing a match of this. This is going to be a lot of fucking fun. All right, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here. Yeah, it's time for me to go. I'm going to exit. I'm going to be back tomorrow at lunch. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning doing Eberron art. I'm going to be back at lunch tomorrow around 2:30 Seattle time. That's going to be about 17 and a half hours from now. We'll be back on. We're going to build a dedicated striker. And probably like, I don't know. We'll figure, maybe a rogue. But a dedicated striker that stays on the enemy's side of the court most of the time, trying to take shots at stuff. And my intention is to build an athlete for all 14 character classes eventually of various levels, at least 7th level, if not various levels, which can be used as sample characters for playing Mage Tower, or that I as a DM can run a team of them to counter my allies, or my players. If like we have 3 players and they want to play Mage Tower, I as a DM can control an enemy team, and then they as players, they can each control a character, and we can do that. Or alternatively, if I have 3 players show up, it could be a 2v2 match where 2 of those players play against me and one of the players, because all the rules of Mage Tower are rules of a sport, and we can debate if there's a question to be able to help clarify the rules. But it's designed so that you don't need a DM, so you can do D&D combat with everyone at the table playing, assuming that you have even numbers. The DM could sit out and referee, or you could have somebody with 2 characters or whatever. But the DM can count as a player when you're playing Mage Tower as a PvP scenario. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot for checking this stuff out. I stream 5 days a week in the mornings doing artwork for the books that I publish, and then here Mondays and Thursday nights, Tuesday and Friday lunches. I do the design work for creating these games that we eventually illustrate and then publish. Right now I'm using 5e, but maybe in the future I'll be doing Shadow Dark. We'll see. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.